The encounter the Discovery Captain Sarah Chun pressed her face against the observation window of the Starship Endeavour. 3 years of deep space exploration had shown her many wonders, but nothing like this. The structure floating in the void ahead defied every law of physics she understood. "Captain, you need to see these readings," called out Marcus Webb from the sensor station. His voice carried a tremor that made Sarah's stomach tighten. Marcus had been her science officer for 5 years. Nothing ever rattled him. Sarah moved to his station, her boots clicking against the metal deck. The bridge was small compared to the massive military vessels back home, but it was her domain. Every surface, every control, every crew member was her responsibility. "What am I looking at, Marcus?" she asked, studying the holographic display that materialized above his console. "It's artificial, Captain. That structure is over 50 kilometers long and 20 kilometers wide. The materials are unknown, but the energy signatures—" Marcus paused, running his hand through his graying hair. "Captain, this thing is alive. Not biological, but definitely alive." Sarah felt her heart rate increase. First contact protocols raced through her mind. 300 years of human space exploration had found ruins, dead worlds, and traces of ancient civilizations. But never anything living. Never anything this massive. "Communications? Any signals?" she asked Lieutenant Diana Ross, who was hunched over her station. "Nothing yet, Captain, but wait. Diana's eyes widened. "I'm getting something now. It's in perfect English." The bridge fell silent. Sarah looked around at her crew of 12. They were scientists, explorers, and dreamers who had volunteered for a mission that would take them farther from Earth than any human had gone before. Now they were about to make history. "Put it through," Sarah ordered. The voice that filled the bridge was neither male nor female. It spoke with perfect pronunciation, but something felt wrong about it, like someone reading words without understanding their meaning. "Greetings, small vessel. You have entered the domain of the Kethvar Dominion. Identify your species classification for processing." Sarah stepped forward, her training kicking in. "This is Captain Sarah Chun of the Earth vessel Endeavour. We are human explorers from the planet Earth. We come in peace." A long pause followed. Then the voice returned, somehow different, more focused. "Human. Processing. Processing complete. You are classified as People Category 7. Prepare for inspection and relocation procedures." The classification doctor Elena Vasquez, the ship's xenobiologist, leaned forward from her station. "Captain, what does People Category 7 mean?" Before Sarah could respond, the alien voice continued. "Dr. Vasquez, your question indicates confusion. This is normal for newly discovered people. All intelligent species fall within our people classification system. You are bipedal, carbon-based, and demonstrate basic tool use. This places you in Category 7. Sarah felt ice form in her veins. "How do you know Dr. Vasquez's name?" "We have scanned your vessel and its occupants. Standard procedure for people processing." "Do not be alarmed. The Kethvar Dominion has successfully classified and relocated 1,247 species of people. Your integration will be efficient." Lieutenant Commander James Park, Sarah's first officer, stepped beside her. "Captain, they're talking about us like we're animals in a zoo." The alien voice responded immediately. "Commander Park, your analogy is incorrect. Zoos are for non-intelligent creatures. You are people. You will be relocated to appropriate worlds where your species can serve its optimal function within the Dominion." "And what if we refuse?" Sarah asked, another pause. Longer this time. "Refuse?" This concept requires clarification. No people have ever refused classification. It is not possible. Sarah exchanged glances with her crew. Marcus was shaking his head slowly. Diana had gone pale. Elena was frantically taking notes on her tablet. "Let me clarify," Sarah said carefully. "Humans choose where we live and what we do. We don't accept classification from others." Captain Chun, you demonstrate confusion common to newly discovered people. Choice is inefficient. The Dominion determines optimal placement based on species capabilities. Humans show strong potential for agricultural work and basic manufacturing. You will be relocated to suitable worlds within 30 rotations. 30 rotations? James asked. Approximately 30 of your Earth days, the voice replied. This allows time for proper preparation. Resistance will only cause unnecessary complications. Sarah felt anger building in her chest. What happened to the other 1,247 species? You? Classified? They serve their functions efficiently. The Zephyrians provide mathematical calculations from their designated computational worlds. The Miran contribute biological research from their laboratory planets. The Vorthen excel in mining operations on their assigned mineral worlds. All are content in their roles. Content? Elena spoke up. What about their cultures, their art, their histories? Inefficient elements are eliminated during relocation. Cultural activities reduce productivity. The Dominion provides all necessary structure for optimal function. The bridge fell silent. Sarah looked at her crew and saw her own horror reflected in their faces. These aliens had turned over 1,000 species into specialized slave labor, and they expected humanity to simply accept the same fate. The refusal, communications, open a channel to Earth Command, Sarah ordered. Captain Chun, the alien voice interrupted, communication with your origin world is unnecessary. Preparation instructions will be transmitted to your planetary authorities. Like hell they will, Sarah muttered, then spoke louder. Listen carefully. Humanity rejects your classification. We reject your relocation. We choose to remain free. The longest pause yet followed. Sarah could hear the hum of the ship's engines, the quiet beeping of instruments, the rapid breathing of her crew. Free? This is an unknown concept. Please clarify. Free means we make our own choices. We live where we want. We work at what we choose. We govern ourselves. This is impossible. People require guidance. Without proper classification and placement, chaos results. The Dominion has prevented such chaos for over 10,000 years. Sarah felt something cold settle in her stomach. 10,000 years. This alien empire had been enslaving species for 10 millennia, and they thought it was natural. How many species chose to be classified, she asked. Choice is not involved. Classification is based on biological and technological assessment. All people accept their assigned roles once they understand the benefits. And if they don't accept, this does not occur. Our methods are highly effective. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, thinking of Earth, of the cities full of people living their own lives, making their own choices, creating art and music and literature, of children playing in parks, of lovers walking hand in hand, of dreamers reaching for the stars. Open the channel to Earth, she ordered Diana. Captain, we are monitoring your communications, the alien voice warned. Contact with your world is not necessary at this time. Sarah ignored the warning. Diana now. Channel open, Captain. Earth. Command, this is Captain Chun aboard the Endeavor. Priority Alpha message. We have made contact with a hostile alien force calling itself the Kethfor Dominion. They demand complete submission of the human species for classification and relocation. Recommend immediate defensive preparations. Captain Chun, the alien voice said, and for the first time, Sarah heard something like surprise in it. You are the first people to refuse classification. This is unprecedented. We're not like the others, Sarah replied. We're human. The approach back on Earth, President Maria Santos stood in the emergency command center deep beneath the Capitol. The room buzzed with activity as military leaders, scientists, and diplomats tried to process the impossible news. "How long do we have?" she asked General Robert Hayes, chairman of the Joint Chiefs. "Based on Captain Sean's telemetry, their main fleet will reach Earth in 28 days, Hayes replied. "Madam President, their ships are massive. Our preliminary scans show vessels over 100 kilometers long." President Santos looked at the holographic display showing the approaching alien fleet. Thousands of ships, each one dwarfing anything humanity had ever built. The odds were impossible. "What are our options?" she asked. Admiral Lisa Chun, Sarah's older sister, stepped forward. "We have every military vessel in the system preparing. For battle, the Mars colonies are fortifying. The outer stations are being armed. But, Madam President, we need to be realistic. Their technology is far beyond ours." "Are you suggesting we surrender?" President Santos asked. "I'm suggesting we consider all options," Admiral Chun replied carefully. Dr. Michael Roberts, the President's chief science advisor, looked up from his tablet. "Madam President, I've been analyzing the alien communications. They've conquered over 1,000 species using the same method. They make contact, classify the species, then relocate them to worlds where they can be controlled. And every species accepted this? According to their records, yes. They've never encountered resistance." President Santos walked to the window overlooking the city. People were going about their daily lives, not knowing that everything might change in less than a month. "General Hayes, what does your gut tell you about our chances?" Hayes was quiet for a long moment. "Honestly, we should have no chance at all. Their ships are bigger, faster, and more advanced. They asterisk." The revelation the battle begins. The first shots of the war were fired at dawn on a Tuesday. Captain Sarah Chun, now commanding a hastily assembled defense fleet, watched from the bridge of the Endeavour as 50 Kethver vessels approached the outer colonies. "All ships, this is Chun," she broadcast to the human fleet. "Remember what we're fighting for. Our freedom, our families, our right to choose our own path." Around her, 300 human ships prepared for battle. Most were not. Warships. Cargo haulers had been fitted with missile launchers. Mining vessels carried nuclear charges. Even civilian transports had been armed with whatever weapons could be found. The odds were impossible. The Kethver ships were massive, their weapons devastating. But the humans had something the aliens had never encountered before: the absolute refusal to surrender. "Enemy ships are powering weapons," reported Lieutenant Torres from the tactical station. "All ships, attack pattern Delta," Sarah ordered. "Make every shot count." The space around the colony of New Olympia exploded into fire and light. The Kethvar, expecting their enemies to use careful, defensive tactics, found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to have no regard for their own survival. Commander Lisa Park led a squadron of converted freighters against the largest alien vessel. Her ship took a direct hit and began breaking apart around her. "Ship is losing power," her pilot reported. "Engines are failing. Then we rammed them," Lisa said calmly. "Commander, that's suicide." "No, that's victory. Hold course." Her ship smashed into the side of the alien vessel. The explosion could be seen from the planet below, but the Kethver ship was severely damaged and had to retreat. Alien confusion on the Kethver flagship. High Coordinator Zethmal watched his displays with growing alarm. His energy form flickered between colors that had no names in human language. "Sub-Coordinator, the humans are not fighting according to any known tactical pattern," he said. "Explain," Veltar requested. "They are sacrificing their vessels to damage ours. When their weapons fail, they ram our ships." When their vessels are destroyed, the survivors attempt to board our ships with hand weapons. Zethmal accessed the Dominion's vast tactical database. In 10,000 years of conquest, no species had ever fought this way. Every other race had used logical tactics, trying to minimize casualties while fighting a defensive war. They fought to survive, not to win. This behavior is not logical, Zethmal said. They cannot win this battle. Why do they continue fighting? Unknown, High. Coordinator. Our tactical computers are having difficulty processing their actions. On Earth, Dr. Michael Roberts was monitoring the battle from the command center. What he discovered changed everything. General Hayes, you need to see this, he said urgently. What? Is it, Doctor? The Kethver ships are experiencing system failures. Their tactical computers are overloading. What's causing it? Us. Our behavior patterns are so far outside their experience that their computers can't predict our actions. They're literally unable to anticipate what we'll do next. General Hayes smiled grimly. So we're too unpredictable for their systems to handle. Exactly. They've built their entire military doctrine on the assumption that intelligent species act rationally. We're proving them wrong. The human advantage. The battle raged for 6 hours. The Kethver had superior technology and firepower, but they were fighting an enemy that didn't behave like any they had encountered before. Captain Maria Santos, the president's daughter, commanded a squadron of asteroid miners turned warships. Her target was a Kethver cruiser that had been pounding the colony's defenses. Target is too well shielded, her weapons officer reported. Our missiles aren't penetrating. Then we get closer, Maria said. All ships, follow me in, maximum speed. Captain, at that range their weapons will tear us apart. Only if they can track us. Remember, their computers can't predict crazy. The human ships dove toward the alien vessel at full speed, weaving and spinning in patterns that defied military logic. The Kethver weapons, controlled by sophisticated targeting computers, couldn't lock onto the chaotically moving human ships. At point-blank range, the humans opened fire. Their smaller weapons, designed for mining asteroids, punched through the alien ship's hull. The cruiser exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Maria's ship was caught in the explosion, but she was smiling as the bridge filled with fire. Her sacrifice had saved the colony below. The Revelation High Coordinator, Zethmal, called an emergency meeting of the Dominion Council. The most powerful beings in the galaxy gathered in the vast chamber aboard the flagship. The humans present an unprecedented situation, Zethmal began. They have fought for 18 rotations without any sign of surrender. Our casualties are significant. Council member Nethva, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, spoke first. How many people have we lost? 17 ships destroyed, 34 damaged. The humans have lost over 200 vessels. Then we are winning, Nethva said. Continue the assault. You do not understand, Zethmal replied. The humans are not reducing their resistance. They are increasing it. Each destroyed ship seems to make the others fight harder. Another council member, Yethral, joined the discussion. What do you mean? When the Zephyrians lost ships, they became more cautious. When the Miran took casualties, they attempted to negotiate. When the Vorthan faced defeat, they surrendered. The humans, when they lose ships, they send more. When they take casualties, they attack more fiercely. The chamber fell silent. In 10,000 years of conquest, the Dominion had never encountered such behavior. What do our analysis systems recommend? Asked Nethva. The systems have failed, Zethmal admitted. The human behavior patterns are so far outside our parameters that our computers cannot generate predictions. We are fighting blind. Council member Dethner, the oldest of the beings present, spoke for the first time. Perhaps we should consider the possibility that these humans are not like the other people we have encountered. Impossible, Nethve said. All intelligent species follow the same basic patterns. Self-preservation, logical thinking, acceptance of superior force. But what if they don't? Defner asked. What if we have finally encountered a species that values something more than survival? The price of freedom. The battle had been raging for 3 days when the impossible happened. The Kethver began to retreat. Sarah Chun, now commanding from a replacement ship after the Endeavour was destroyed, watched in amazement as the massive alien vessels pulled back from human space. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Kethver flagship, reported her new communications officer. Put it through. High Coordinator Zethmal's voice filled the bridge, but it was different now. The absolute confidence was gone, replaced by something that might have been respect. Captain Shun, we request. A pause in hostilities. Sarah looked around at her surviving crew. They were exhausted, bloodied, but unbroken. What kind of pause? We wish to understand. Your species has fought for 72 rotations without surrender. Your casualties are enormous. Your defeat is mathematically certain. Yet you continue to fight. Why? Sarah thought of all the ships that had been lost, all the lives sacrificed, all the families that would never be whole again. She thought of the colonies that had been defended, the children who were still free, the future that humanity had chosen to protect. Because we're human, she said simply. We choose our own path. Another long pause. Then Zethmal spoke again, and his voice carried something that sounded like wonder. We have encountered 1,247 species in our expansion across the galaxy. All have followed the same pattern. They fought to survive, and when survival became impossible, they surrendered to preserve their people. You are the first to fight not for survival, but for what you call freedom. And now you understand? Sarah asked. No, we do not understand. But we are beginning to realize that perhaps understanding is not required. Perhaps there are different ways to exist in the universe. The new understanding, the war ended not with victory or defeat, but with a revelation that shook the foundations of the Kethver Dominion. For the first time in 10,000 years, they encountered a species that refused to be conquered. The Dominion retreated to their space, but they were changed. The certainty that had driven their expansion was shattered. They began to question everything they had believed about intelligence, about civilization, about the nature of existence itself. Some of the species they had classified began to hear rumors of the humans who had said no. Whispers spread through the agricultural worlds, the mining planets, the research stations. For the first time in millennia, the word freedom was spoken in the Dominion. On Earth, President Santos addressed the world. We have shown the galaxy that humanity cannot be classified, cannot be conquered, cannot be broken. We have paid a terrible price for our freedom, but we have proven that some things are worth any sacrifice. The cost had been enormous. Millions of lives lost, entire fleets destroyed, colonies devastated. But humanity remained free. In the years that followed, other species began to reach out to humanity. Some sought alliance, others asked for help in reclaiming their own freedom. The galaxy was changing, and it all started with a simple human concept that the Kethver had never encountered before, the idea that freedom was more valuable than life itself. Epilogue**.